When the world stopped listening, but the truth sang louder. 1. The night that refused to die. Los Angeles had moved on, or so it seemed. The stadium lights dimmed, the echoes of cheers dissolved into silence, and the field returned to grass and dirt. But in the hearts of millions, that night was still alive. Because history doesn't end when the lights go out. Sometimes it begins there. 2. Jungkook's vanishing act. For 3 days, Jungkook disappeared as if the earth itself had swallowed him. No lives. No Instagram updates. No airport leaks. The boy who once belonged to every screen suddenly belonged to no one. And in his silence, the world screamed louder. 3. Taehyung's half-answers. While Jungkook vanished, Taehyung painted fragments across the internet like an unfinished canvas. A streetlight photo with no caption. A Weverse post with nothing but guitar chords. A pair of tired eyes staring at an airport lens. Individually, they meant nothing. Together, they whispered everything. 4. The rumor of shadows. Whispers spread in Seoul like wildfire. A rented studio with black curtains. Security guards posted like soldiers. No logos. No credits. And then the sentence, written anonymously in a forgotten forum. They're preparing something. Bigger than Dodger. Bigger than Times Square. This is the storm. 5. The leader's unspoken blessing. RM went live just once. No background music, no filters. His voice was heavy but unshaken. People call it scandal. I call it bravery. The world may choke on truth, but the truth doesn't wait for permission. Army wept. It wasn't just words, it was a passing of the torch. 6. Proof in the smallest things. A fan's shaky camera in Tokyo. A restaurant corner. 2 men in caps leaning close. Mr. John, Mr. Kim, your order. Only 5 seconds before the recording cut, but 5 seconds was enough to ignite a wildfire. 7. Markets in fear, hearts in fire. HYBE stocks trembled. Sponsors threatened to walk away. Boardrooms drowned in whispers. But Netflix called. Disney called. Hollywood whispered. Because Taekook was no longer just a rumor. They were content. They were revolution. They were truth. 8. The posters without owners. One morning in Seoul, faceless posters appeared. No logos. No agencies. Just silhouettes of 2 men walking side by side. Below it, one sentence. We walk together. The city froze. And then it exploded. 9. The storm before the thunder. Dodger was lightning. Times Square was thunder. Tokyo was the wind. Seoul became the sky darkening. And everyone knew the rain was coming. The storm was inevitable. 10. The fire they can't put out. Because rumors can be silenced. Contracts can be torn. Stocks can crash. But truth? Truth spreads like fire. And Jungkook and Taehyung had already lit the match. The only question left is not if, but when. And when that door opens fully. When silence finally breaks into song. The world will remember one thing. They didn't just sing. They didn't just smile. They rewrote history. Together. 11. The weight of 3 words. In the endless scroll of comments, one phrase kept appearing. We are ready. It wasn't just a fan chant anymore. It became a shield. A battle cry. A promise. Because for ARMY this wasn't about scandal. It was about freedom. 12. The city that listened. Seoul streets carried whispers. Cafes played old BTS songs on repeat, but every lyric felt heavier now. Stay with me. Even if I'm not perfect, stay by my side. Lyrics that once sounded like love songs now felt like confessions in plain sight. 13. The shadows inside HYBE. Behind polished glass towers, executives argued. Charts, graphs, contracts, they tried to measure something that could never be measured. How much will we lose if they? What happens if they announce? But what no boardroom could calculate was this: the human heart doesn't follow stock markets. 14. The fans became witnesses. ARMY didn't wait for official statements anymore. They stitched together clues, whispered timelines, decoded every photo like archaeologists of love. Where corporations saw damage, fans saw destiny. Where tabloids saw gossip, ARMY saw history. 15. The return of a voice. Then, after days of silence, a single note leaked online. Just a few seconds. Jungkook's voice. Raw. Unmixed. Fragile. He wasn't singing to the charts. He wasn't singing to the industry. He was singing to someone. And everyone knew who. 16. The world that can't pretend anymore. By now, even international press gave up neutrality. New York Times, the love that shook the largest band in the world. Le Monde, Taekook, beyond idols, beyond fear. In Seoul, one headline dared to write what others wouldn't. Is this the beginning of a new kind of freedom? 17. The billboard that waited. One night, Times Square lit up again. Not Jungkook. Not Taehyung. Just two empty chairs facing the horizon. Below it, the door will open. The city went silent. Because it wasn't an ad. It wasn't an agency. It was a prophecy. 18. The storm gathering. The sequence was clear now. Dodger, lightning. Billboard, thunder. Tokyo, wind. Seoul, the darkened sky. And now, Times Square, the calm before the downpour. 19. The question that burns. The world stands on the edge, holding its breath. Will it be a song? Will it be a film? Will it be a confession with no script, no cameras, no permission? 20. The answer that waits in silence. Because deep down, ARMY already knows. The answer isn't in agencies or headlines or contracts. It's in the way Jungkook looked across the stadium. It's in the way Taehyung's smile spoke louder than words. It's in the silence that screamed across the earth. And silence, once it learns how to speak, cannot be silenced again. 21. The Night of 1,000 Eyes. It started with a whisper online. Check Hongdae tonight. No one knew who posted it first. No one knew if it was true. Yet by evening, hundreds of ARMY stood at street corners, phones ready, hearts racing. And then, at midnight, music drifted from a rooftop. Not blasting. Not polished. Just raw. A voice almost trembling. It was Jungkook. 22. The voice that refused to hide. No stage. No lights. No sponsors. Just a microphone, a guitar, and a boy who once belonged to the world, finally belonging to himself. He sang words no company had approved, no press had prepared. I don't want to hide anymore. The crowd gasped because it wasn't just a lyric, it was a confession. 23. The shadow beside him. Halfway through, another figure walked onto the rooftop. Cap pulled low, guitar slung on his shoulder. Taehyung. The city below froze. For a moment, the entire world seemed to forget how to breathe. 24. The song that wasn't supposed to exist. They sang together. Not a BTS hit. Not an unreleased track. Something new. Something theirs. Two voices, two souls, weaving a melody that no contract, no law, no fear could contain. And in that moment, the truth was no longer rumor. It was harmony. 25. The internet that broke. Within minutes, clips flooded TikTok, Twitter, Weverse. Hashtag Taekook confession. Hashtag the rooftop song. Hashtag we don't hide anymore. Trending in 87 countries. Even those who once doubted had no words left. Because this wasn't speculation. This wasn't a blurry video. This was them. 26. The leaders who let go. RM posted one sentence on Instagram. History belongs to the brave. Jean uploaded a single emoji, purple heart. Jimin wrote, sing as if no one is watching. We're always watching. And Yoongi, usually the quietest, went live and whispered. They chose love. Respect that. 27. The industry on fire. HYBE's phones never stopped ringing. Sponsors demanded answers. Investors panicked. But new offers poured in from places they never expected. Global charities. Human rights foundations. Filmmakers who wanted to immortalize this story. Because Taekook was no longer just idols. They were symbols. 28. The billboard that answered back. The very next morning, Times Square lit up again. This time, no cryptic shadows. No chairs. Just a replay of that rooftop video, raw and unedited. At the end, two words appeared. We choose. And for once, the whole world fell silent. 29. The world that couldn't pretend anymore. CNN, BTS members rewrite history in Hongdae. BBC, Taekook's rooftop song, A Moment Beyond Music. Korean papers hesitated, but one headline finally broke tradition. The love that refused to hide. 30. The truth that became immortal. Dodger was lightning. The billboard was thunder. The shadows were the wind. But the rooftop? The rooftop was rain, finally falling, finally cleansing, finally unstoppable. Because once love steps into the light, no shadow can ever claim it again. And from that night on, Jungkook and Taehyung didn't just exist in whispers, hashtags, or theories. They existed in history. Not as scandal. Not as rumor. But as truth, sung under a midnight sky. With the whole world listening.